Wow. Can I just start by saying how incredible it is to be here in Durham, where I first joined UCU, and where I stood on picket lines that were a lot smaller than the ones I've seen today. I want to start by asking you guys to give yourselves a huge, massive, loud cheer, round of applause, stamp your feet, make some noise. You are doing something incredible. We are in a historic set of disputes at the moment. This action that we are taking is game-changing because we're standing up for ourselves, we're standing up for each other, we are standing up for higher education, and we are standing up for what is actually a decent society. We are standing up together for fair work, for contracts that make sense, that don't mean that we have to defer decisions to have families, that don't mean that our relationships are destroyed, that don't mean that we are working every hour and then some and feeling guilty about taking some time off at the weekend. Let's be really honest. We love education, and that's why we work in this sector. And I want to just take a moment to also recognise we are lecturers, we are researchers, we are librarians, we are IT staff, we are widening participation workers, we are all higher education workers together, and we are standing alongside our students together. It is so incredible to hear the support and to feel the support that is there between staff and students who ultimately make up this community that we call a university. Because I want you to look around you, look at who's standing next to you. We are the university. We are the university. We are standing up alongside each other to say having a disparity in what you are paid based on your gender, based on your race, based on whether or not you are disabled is a disgrace. It is a disgrace that does not befit a sector that pretends it is a leading light in social justice. We even have universities giving themselves straplines like the University of Winchester, who believes it is the University for Social Justice, while intimidating its staff, trying to prevent them from going out on strike. So we say no to that vision of education, and we say yes to a vision of education and research and groundbreaking work that we can do together if we are set free from the horrors of what is actually making us very miserable in our lives. Now, a lot of us who have been involved in the union for some time will be caseworkers. And we know, because we work directly with members who are at the sharp end of what this sector can do to you. We know that we're meeting our members in hospital. We know that we're meeting members who have had breakdowns. We know that we're meeting with members who are heading in that direction unless something changes very soon. And that is a disgrace. We are standing together on pay and pay-related conditions in our negotiations with UCU. And we are standing together to say we should have a decent standard of living in retirement when we finish work as well in negotiations with Universities UK. I'm going to say a little bit about those negotiations because I'm now the President Elect of UCU, and it means that I am leading both teams of negotiators, so no pressure or anything. We have been listening to some absolute rubbish coming out of our employers over the past, it's not even the last few months, it's years, it's decades of rubbish coming at us. I remember when I started at university, I started here at Durham in the year 2000, and we were talking to each other about the idea that a university could be considered a business, and we found it funny. And I remember that now, and I think that's really sad because we just didn't know what was coming and what was already on its way to smack us around the face. Hiked fees for students, more barriers to accessing education, more pressure on staff, more work, more students to support, but less of us to do it, and more expectations that we give up our unpaid time to do it. And that's unpaid time for hourly paid staff who are working these magical unicorn hours where you get paid for an hour plus maybe 1 hour for prep, and you're supposed to produce a whole lecture or a seminar in that time and answer student emails and, you know, get ready for whatever questions you're going to have at the end of a session. The magical unicorn hours that make it possible to do your research alongside processing applications, absolutely shed loads of administration and everything else. The magical unicorn hours that allow admin staff to somehow manage to do things that will actually take a week inside, I don't know, half an hour, it seems to be the expectation. We are in negotiations explaining the reality, the human material reality of what it is like to work on the ground in our institutions. And we're getting in response actually some recognition that we might be onto something here, because maybe our members wouldn't be out on strike for historic lengths of time, 3 times in 2 years, if there weren't problems. I mean, I don't know, we're meant to be quite good at education and we seem to know what we're talking about and we're quite good at reasoning, so you would think they might have listened to us earlier than this, but we are getting somewhere. And what I want to get across to you now is our action is effective. Our action has got these people back into the negotiating room with us over and over again. Each time, no, we don't want to make another offer. Each time, oh no, we know we can't afford basic decency in the workplace. But by the way, the Vice Chancellor's salaries have gone up. And by the way, we've taken out large capital loans to finance overseas campuses and new big shiny buildings. But you guys, you can hang on and wait. We don't mind. And these conversations that we're having in the negotiations, we feel the power of you with us. We know that you're out there. The negotiations we had on Monday in London with UCU over the 4 Fights campaign, there was a huge protest outside the building that had gathered when they realised that we were going in there for our negotiations, making so much racket we actually had to delay the start of our meeting because that's how angry members are. The tone of those negotiations has shifted so much. I'm in the room in both sets and I can tell you the tone is completely different. They are trying to talk down the impact of this action, and that is their tactic, we know, because, well, apart from anything else, we've seen some leaked emails that they've been sending each other about how they need to make sure they talk down the impact of the action that you've taken, whilst going to great lengths to discourage you from taking any more. Now, why would they want to discourage you if it wasn't having any effect? So, we need absolutely to stand firm, make as much noise as you can. I know that tomorrow and Friday you go back into work and it's going to feel a bit weird. And I know that we are hoping that we get more out of, we've got a UK negotiation this afternoon and we will be absolutely doing our best to get further progress for you in those. But what they want you to do right now is to stop making a noise. What they want you to do right now is to believe that you can't win. You can win. They're terrified. They're terrified that you will keep up this action. They are terrified about how awful they look. How awful they look to wider society, who are seeing that the people who are hit the hardest by the issues that we are out on strike over are the most vulnerably employed, lowest paid. Because let's not forget, if you're casualised, you're probably not even in the bloody pension scheme. You're probably in a position where even if you are, if your short-term contract comes to an end, you're going to have to weigh up whether or not you will remove yourself from the pension scheme, cash out of it in order to pay for rent and food. This is the state that we're in, and it is not good enough. We are strong together. Look around you. Look at the faces of the people around you. And when you go back into work tomorrow, remember you are on action short of a strike. You are not making up for the time that you have been out on strike. And you are girding yourself. If we have to go out again next week, we bloody well will. And we will talk to our colleagues and explain what is going on, and we will explain that the more that we hit now and the harder we strike now, the greater our leverage, the more likely the progress that will benefit everyone in this sector and will benefit our students as well. And get people to come out with you. Talk to them. Talk to them about what we're doing. Remind them that our working conditions are students' learning conditions. Remind them that this is our window, this is the momentum we have been building, and this is our chance to make a difference. Let's make it big, let's make it loud, and give yourselves another huge round of applause. Make some noise.
You heard it here. We need everyone out, loud and strong on Monday, to give Vicky and all of the rest of our negotiators more leverage. It is working. If you are ever in doubt, you have heard that it is working. So we need to keep at this.